Welcome back to Mine Operator. We have the whole team here today. We got Harry, we got Ron, Chad from Mine Operator, Mr. Hollywood, and Conman. We want to thank all the new members and all the new subscribers. And we would like to thank our paid members. Thank you!
To me, it's exciting to see everybody out there that's interested in mining, in gold, and what it takes every little step of the way.
And most gold historically has been mined at a loss, and we're here to prove the point. So far.
That is,
We'll make a
That's
profit
hilarious.
one of these days.
That's funny.
We keep plugging away, step at a
We
time.
keep plugging. We love what we do. That's why we're out here, and we keep persevering through all the breakdowns and trials that we have. For me, I love the science behind mining and how to recover the metals from the ore.
We want to shout out to the old timers who paved the way for us. Many of us have mining in our lineage, so being able to give back, being able to show you what we're doing is kind of carrying on that legacy, and we hope you enjoy it.
And a lot of what we do, I've written about in the Mining Journal, so if you're not a subscriber to ICMJ Mining Journal, you need to subscribe.
And none of this would be possible if we didn't have the support from our wives.
Huh. Boy, that's the truth.
Wow, a big thank you for
Yeah.
them back at home so that we can be here.
Yeah, how about applause for our wives? Thank you, wife. They come up with us. Yeah, and I'm sure you have wives too that tolerate your mining hobbies, so you know what we're talking about.
Well, there's a few wives that are out there mining too. So.
Well, that's right,
Absolutely.
definitely. For putting up with your husbands then.
If you love this video, crush the like button now.
And then pan it.
Then pat it.
And don't forget to crush your ore.
Thanks for watching.
Here we are going back out to get some more ore. We got this little speed bump in the way. You can dig the gold out of there while you're at it. Good job, Harry. Clear the trail. I'm out here with Harry. We're heading out to pick up some more ore from the root beer mine. What do you got to say for yourself?
I'm excited.
Great job getting that rock out of the road too, by the way.
Yeah, we had to go around it. It was too big.
Well, we tried.
We brought a lot of bulk bags this time. We also have a trailer with us. And we brought our muscle. Roger over there. Yeah. See how much we could get.
There's Ron hard at work.
Hardly at work.
Hardly working.
Yeah, never sweat is my name.
While we were out here, we reclaimed a lot of old nails and trash.
Yeah. Bits of metal that might end up in your tire.
Yep, doing our part to clean up the environment.
There we go.
Yeah, baby. We have 4 tons with us.
4 tons.
Yes, sir.
We were going for 15. But what do you get?
Yeah.
Another day older and deeper in debt.
We made a pretty good dent in this hole.
Yeah, I think we doubled the size of what's missing now.
Yeah, I think so.
How many ton you think we got today?
4.
4 tons?
Yeah.
5.
Tell you what, Ron and Roger tore it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys did an incredible job.
You got there?
Yep, we got 16 bags. Let's take a look at the load. Got 6 bags on little white trailer here.
Did you take it?
Got 4 bags in the bed of my truck. We have 3 bags in the bed of Harry's truck. And then there's 3 more bags on Harry's trailer that is up the hill, right there on the other side. We came out here, what, at 2 o'clock?
Yeah.
And we pulled 16 bags. So technically, if we started in the morning out here, went back to the mill site,
We could do 2.
we could do 2 trips, and that would be 8 tons.
We
So
left the mill site at 12:30. It's 5 o'clock. We still got to get back.
yeah, so definitely a full day.
6 and change, 6:30, 6:45.
Yeah.
Right there. Loading up the trailer.
So pre-crushing a sample with our mini stamp mill, and it's doing a pretty good job.
We just need to put a 100 mesh screen on there and then get a copper plate with some furic acid and put some mercury on there and amalgamate like the old timers.
Yeah, that's what they were using back in the day. It's so funny.
I can't help it.
Our jaw crusher is down for the count. We have a 16x8 jaw crusher, and Conman and Harry were doing a 750-pound test run through the mill.
So here we are. We get everything ready to go. All the fixes are in place. We start running the jaw crusher, and Greg's got it in second gear, and he starts waving me over. I look, and I can see the main bearing going back and forth inside of the jaw. So we pretty much finished what we were crushing, and that was it. The bearings are shot. So we're gonna have to pull them and replace them. The side bearings are poor in place, but the main bearing, it's a brass or a bronze type bearing. So we're gonna have to either figure out the dimensions and try to cast ourselves, or we're gonna have to have someone machine our bearing house for us before we can put it back together. So it's, I don't know, but I know it's a bronze type bearing for the main bearing, so we can't pour that in place.
It got pretty hairy. That Babbitt bearing was headed out of the sleeve by a good 2 inches.
Wow.
And the banging together, would vibrate your teeth. It was so strong.
Yeah. So we have a plan of attack. I'll show you that next on what we're thinking of doing, so we could at least screen material and bypass the jaw crusher. And we want to hear from you. Have you rebuilt an old jaw crusher before? Do you have any suggestions and or recommendations that our team should know? So please leave a comment below.
All right, so we're gonna pop this bearing off. And mind you, I don't think this bearing has ever come off because there's a wooden shim in there, and nobody uses wooden shims in this. So let's see what this looks like. Oh, she's heavy. Oh. There you go. Babbitt. And look at this. Wooden shim.
Holy crap.
It works, right? So I got to clean this up and see if this gap buys me the wear that's in the Babbitt, but I have a suspicion it's not enough. So luckily,
This is what they had.
this is a pour in place type Babbitt material that's on this, but not on the main bearing. So we can redo these if we have to.
Copy that. Okay.
So
Well, that's good news.
Here, hand it up.
yeah, it's kind of heavy. I'll go this way.
Get over here.
So normally what you do is you take what's called plastic gauge. This is blue type crushable material. And you put it between the bearing and the shaft, and you torque everything back together again and take it apart, and then measure how much you crushed, and you know how much gap you have. So with the Babbitt bearing, you shouldn't really have any gap at all. It should be, you know, tight.
So what we're thinking of doing is putting one of our cranes mounted on this corner section so that we can lift the bulk bags with an electric hoist we have right into a hopper that feeds the conveyor belt. And this material will go up the conveyor belt, and then we have a screen deck on top of the surge bin where it'll classify the 1/2 inch minus material that we have. The oversize will come off and we'll just put it, you know, down here on the floor to rerun it later when the crusher's up and working. But then the surge bin will be filled with 1/2 inch minus material, and we could still, you know, feed the Stutenroth mill with ore. And that's what we're thinking of doing for the time being. All right, so take a look where we're at. What I have is the mount for the crane. The crane is gonna mount directly on this. Now it's upside down. Got our gussets underneath. Mounted right above the hopper on this corner beam. All right, let's get it up there. Let's install it. So we finished up the mount and installed the crane along with the hoist. So what kind of angle, Ron, are we gonna run?
We're looking at about 30 degrees right there, so the material will slide out into this. It's not really a sluice, but anything with sides and a bottom like that, I call a sluice.
Copy that.
Okay, 30 degrees, it should slide out pretty well, and it'll dump out right there on the conveyor. And we will put a stop back at the bottom, a backstop, so anything that rolls back won't go under the jaw crusher.
All right, so we got the side bearings for the shaft apart, and there's enough bearing left to put these things back together. So I used a feeler gauge to figure out how much space I needed between the flanges of the bearing, so that way I'd be using just enough bearing to hold the shaft in place. So we had some spacers that I made, and got everything greased up and ready to get put back together so we can get this thing refurbished. Get this thing on there.
Nice work, man.
Well, it's gotta work first.
Yeah, Harry's a marine engineer and he's good at this stuff. We're so grateful to have him on the team.
Problem with these old machines are nothing fits right anymore, so you kind of have to do the best you can with what you got.
These are 3/4 inch bolts.
Yeah, 3/4 inch bolts. So when I tighten this down, I'm going to crush those spacers just enough, but not enough to deform the Babbitt material. So hopefully that gives us enough on these shafts to keep rolling. We got some anti-seize on there, because these were pretty hard to take apart the last time. So when we have to take this apart in the future to redo the Babbitt, we'll be able to take care of it. So we'll get this guy buttoned up and we'll start on the next one. So we got one side put together. Voila. Thought it'd be cool to show what the other side looks like before I put all the grease on the mated surfaces. This Babbitt material, they just use like a Dremel or something and cut out a groove for the grease to go. And then the shaft is still in good condition. There's a little bit of grooving on it from probably iron that got in there or something, but the shaft's still in good condition. And I got another shim I gotta make for this, and then I'll get that put together.
We have a 3-ton chain fall to lift the heavy beast. And we have 2 1-ton chain falls for the plates.
So I have the chain fall set up to where the main jaw is supported, it's weight supported, and the bottom is being pushed out with the mechanics underneath. So when this piece comes apart, it will loosen, and I need to loosen it enough to pull out the shims. That way I can try to close the gap.
Copy that.
Unfortunately, I can't reach the shims on the underside because the two halves come together like this. So I have to take it almost all the way apart. I'm going to leave 2 long bolts in the top, and I'll pull it apart, and then I have to get in there and fish them out. And then I can put it back together. If ideally I'd take this all apart and clean it really well, but
Yeah.
once we pull apart the lower pieces here, I have no way of getting that bottom plate. I don't know what it's called, but the part of the plate that holds the bottom of the jaw in place. If you take the jaw apart, that just falls.
Copy.
So I don't know how to put that back together with what we got here. I need like a transmission jack stand or something to get under there. It's too much effort. So
Yeah.
if I can get the gap closed on this, good. If not, then we do have to do it the hard way and take it all apart.
You know, when we built the Frankenstein gantry crane,
Yeah.
you know, we were anticipating
Yep.
using this I-beam here for this exact job. We just weren't thinking of having to do this so soon.
I was thinking it was going to be for
5 years ago.
the 54 Chevy. We're going to be pulling the 54 Chevy and replacing it. You know, I was thinking that would
Yeah.
go first, not the bearing. But little did we know it's the bearing first.
So glad we installed such large I-beams. They're 5.5 inch by 10 inch by 3/8 thick I-beams.
30 pounds a foot, right? That's
Yeah.
the I-beam, 30 pounds.
Let's see if we could get this fixed and
You bet.
if we could fire the jaw crusher back up or the jaw breaker, according to Ron.
Yeah, the jawbreaker.
Jawbreaker.
I prefer not to break my jaw. It's
Yeah.
pretty miserable.
No, thank you.
I like calling it the jawbreaker. We're gonna set this hopper up here to feed onto the belt and go into the surge hopper, so we can pre-screen our material and take it and bypass the jawbreaker and keep running material while that gets prepared. Harry's working on that right now.
So we'll lift the bulk bags with the crane.
Right, we installed a new crane. Chad welded up a base for that, and we got the hoist up there, and that will carry the bags. Everything's a new adventure.
Constantly building stuff. All we're trying to do is get gold, but to do that, we got to continuously work on projects.
Right. Yeah, go ahead and drop her down. Good. Okay.
Do me a favor, can you put that tagline back on the hook?
Okay, keep it on.
Yeah, so I can pull it back over here.
Okay, go ahead. I'll give you the rope. Just swing the arm over. There you go. I'll unhook all this. Did a good job on the tie up here.
Testing out our new crane, and it's working great.
These bags weigh anywhere from 380 pounds up to about 550 pounds. The Bannon electric cable hoist has a lift capacity of 800 pounds, and that's what's on the crane on the corner of the gantry. It has a cable length of 124 feet and a speed of 59 feet per minute. It's pretty heavy, it's 78 pounds, but it's easy to install. And it has a duty cycle of 25%. Harry is using a digital scale on our crane to weigh the bulk bags, and he's giving the weights to Conman. And then Conman is keeping a tally on that 4x6 right there so we can get a total weight at the end. We are using an electric hoist on the gantry crane to help maneuver the bags off of the truck. This crane has an 1,100 pound lift capacity. We are using a 3-ton trolley on the gantry I-beam. These MSU bulk bags we get at the local hardware store for anywhere from about $20 to $25.
Get away, and then we're gonna go ahead and bring it your way. Pull it your way. 375.
Okay.
All right. Toward you.
Nice.
So it looks like what we've got 503, 542, 498, 375. Okay,
Getting close to a ton.
nice. This past week, we were able to go out to the mine and pull a sample of, what, 3 tons approximately?
That's a large sample.
Yeah. We had 16 bags, and they averaged, anywhere from 450 pounds. We had some as low as 380, and then some as high as like 580. But so let's show you on the board we'll show you here on the board how we tallied up our bags. So on the crane, down here we have a scale, and we're able to weigh up to 2,000 pounds with that digital scale. We have ore staged from the mine, and we raise that. We have a tag line up top. We pull it over to where Harry's at.
That was hard.
That's a workout.
That was more than I was expecting.
And how'd this work out?
It worked out pretty good. Bring it down in here real quick. We ran out of really good rubber, so we had to kind of Mickey Mouse this, but we got a good rollback catch here, and then as long as I control the feed enough, we were able to get it into the hopper just fine without any spillage.
Awesome.
But everything inside the hopper is top secret, so you can't see what goes on in there.
So now we have 2,300 pounds. It's about 2,389. That's in the hopper. And we're gonna run that next week with the material that we pulled from the root beer mine in these bags. Let me show you here. we were curious how much would pass through a 1/2-inch screen deck, and we weighed a bag, which was 382 pounds, and then what came off of the screen deck, 1/2-inch plus, weighed 85 pounds. So 22% of it was oversized. The rest went into the surge bin, and you know, we're gonna be able to run that through our system and get gold. That 22% is pretty much just gonna stay on the ground until we get the crusher back up and running, and then we can run that at a later date. So with the jaw crusher, we're waiting on a deep socket, 1 5/8 inches to come so we can take those bolts apart. Harry's working on that to try to see if he can remove some shims and tighten that gap so we can fire up the jaw crusher again. If not, that's a whole nother conundrum that we're gonna be working on.
We got a nice alternative way to classify and run some pretty good ore right now before we fix it.
So without the jaw crusher, our chalcedonic quartz, we can't crush this, and we know there's gold pockets in this stuff because we've run it separately and we had good results. So we're missing out on the gold in this stuff right now while we're classifying. So until then, it's gonna sit there. We're running about 69 to 70% purity on the gold, and then 20% silver in the dump. The rest is just junk. But this is what we're getting out of the root beer right now.
That's awesome. Yeah, so out of 5 tests, no, actually, one was a pan test. The other were actual sample runs. We've seen anywhere from about 4 grams up to what Orophilia got with his sample, which was 9 grams per ton.
Sulfides.
Yeah, but he did an Aqua Regia leach on it, so we're not gonna get that 100% that he got.
I don't think we can do an Aqua Regia on a ton.
So, yeah, our best bet, you know, we're looking at maybe 5 grams or 6 grams like we did in that one test, but it's gonna be all over the board. It's a dump, so gold's gonna be hit and miss.
That's mining.
Yep.
Thanks for watching.